In a world in banking in which we've seen that products have been completely commoditized, the only way to make a difference is through an excellent customer experience, a differentiated customer experience. And in delivering that differentiating customer experience, it is the global techs that have actually set the bench to our customers and raised the expectations. So if you want to deliver on a differentiating customer experience, in my view, it has to adhere to the 4 principles of personal, instant, relevant, and seamless. The technologies that, in my view, are going to have the most impact on the customer journey are technologies that, on one side, help customers to identify themselves, e-identity, authentication of identification cards, face recognition technology, stuff like that, which makes it really easy for customers to onboard into new platforms, new banks. That's one side. And the other side is everything that has to do with artificial intelligence, in order to help customers to understand what their behavior delivers in terms of what kind of person they are and therefore what kind of financial advice fits with them, so that they feel truly empowered to take the decisions they need to take. In order to build trust in the future, because the trust is affected by the personal relationship, so basically the fact that customers can actually go and visit a branch and can relate to a person. That is fading away with branch closures and people doing more and more online. So the trust factor that comes now in place is the trust factor that has to be built through making sure that whatever advice you render is really recognized as an advice that the customer can relate to, as one that is specific, tailored to its situation, to his or her situation, on the back of the data and the behavior that that customer shows. So the way you have to deliver your services, your products, has to be very personal and has to be very simple and understandable. Only that way, normal people, honestly, and which is 99% of us, will feel empowered to make those financial decisions that they need to take, both in a day-to-day banking situation as in related to investing for the future. So every investment that we make and every fintech that we collaborate with, they have to play a role in our strategy. And our strategy is to deliver a differentiating experience to our customers. So every fintech, everything they can bring on board that is actually geared towards their strategy is one that we want to collaborate with, that we want to invest in. This can be in specific areas like payments, like aggregation or robo-advice, but can be broader as well. The way you work with fintechs, though, is different per fintech. Some are a little bit bigger, they have their own standards, they have different banks they work with already, and some are starting from scratch, and they're looking for an inroad into a bank actually to test their technology. So depending on where they are in their own development, you have to work with them in a different way. The biggest challenges are on both sides of this collaboration. On one side, you'll have to explain to fintechs that we're not a lab in which they can experiment to the max. We're dealing with real customers, with real customer information. So whenever we release something, it can't be just a trial, because we have a brand to protect, a promise to protect. On the other side, the challenge is also on the internal side. Clearly, you know, if you're an established bank, motivating your people to collaborate with fintechs sometimes is difficult from many different angles. First, fintechs work much faster, they're much more agile. And therefore, you have to change the culture yourself. And that's exactly what we've been doing. Over the last 3-4 years, we've been truly changing the internal culture to not only innovate ourselves, but also to make sure that the collaboration with the fintechs works really well.